Coming up in this episode of Motorhead Garage, Sam and Dave install handlebars that rocks, and then the strongest axles of them all.
Man, these are fun to ride, aren't they? They are a blast. Hey, welcome to Motorhead Garage. Well, folks, we got something really special for you today. You know, a lot of you guys out there have these four-wheelers that you take off-road and ride all over the place. They're a lot of fun. Problem is, for a guy like me, they're all the same size. They're like airplane seats, man. Some people fit in them, some people don't, and I don't. What you can do, though, is you can modify these things a little bit so make them comfortable for you. We got Chris Olin here from Rox, who's brought some unique items that allow us to modify this to make it a lot more comfortable for a guy like me to ride it. Chris, welcome to the show. Tell us what you got.
Well, today we got foot pegs we're going to put on, but the most important thing that we bring to the table is our patented pivoting risers. It allows you to position the handlebars to the sweet spot of your liking.
So you can raise them up, and as well you can bring them back and forth.
Yep. We also changed the sweep of the handlebar to make it more comfortable so that your elbows aren't stuck to your sides, but you're out comfortably riding. Comfortable rider is a safe rider. When you're standing up, a taller guy like you would be bent over. These will allow you to stand up a little bit more comfortable so your head's looking down the trail.
So it doesn't hurt my neck while I'm trying to like that.
And most of the guys, when they ride serious, they're standing up on these things.
They're standing up.
Yep.
Sam's taking off this stuff right here. Let's get started.
Next thing we're going to do is we're going to put the stock caps back on with the stock bolts. We're going to go through, put this dash panel in place. It kind of covers up the stock steering stem, and we'll slip on the pivoting risers.
These are your risers on this.
Yes, sir.
So this is what's going to raise your handlebars up. Now you get these in different sizes?
Yes, you can. They come in 2-inch all the way up to 5 inches, what you're holding on your hand.
Okay. So this is going to be great for me, because they'll get right up there for me.
Going to slip them right in there and snug up the bolts
just
so
like
that it stays in position.
Now you want to probably keep those a little
bit
loose until you get everything mounted so that you can get it all adjusted right. Now we get the handlebar here. Now Chris, tell me a little bit about this.
That's called a Pro Taper handlebar. That is 6061 aluminum. It tapers from 1/1/8 out to 7/8 so that your stock controls will still work on the outside, but it's a little heavier duty, a little beefier in the middle where the handlebars mount.
I like the way that feels.
It's got some nice graduations on it too.
One of the things that you want to pay attention to when you're putting risers on and handlebars on is you've got these little markers in the middle to keep your bars centered. The other thing you want to pay attention to is keeping the bars flat in the rotation to the world. You can see kind of how they're kind of pointed down or pointed up.
Right.
We like to have them so that they're flat. Once you get on the seat, find your sweet spot. We'll position them right where you want them, then we'll tighten them up.
Get it where you want now, and I'll tighten these first, right?
Yep. Generally, we like to have them kind of almost vertical, and then we'll roll the handlebars back towards you.
So vertical is?
So usually you want to bring them up just a little bit, and then we'll loosen the top up to roll the bar down, because right now the bar is kicked up in the air a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. And then we'll loosen these up a little bit.
If I'm going to be riding like this.
Yeah. Now one of the things we'll do next is put this bar pad on the top. Fits on just like that.
So when it goes like this?
So yeah, we'll bring this underneath the bottom like so. Put it on like that.
There we go.
There you go. We're going to protect your fingers in the cold weather or the mud. This goes right over the top.
There we go. That's pretty nice. I like that. Boy, when you got the branches and the bramble, that cut you out.
All right. Next step is to put on our foot pegs, and that's what we have right over here. And Sam, you want to hand that to me?
There you go.
This is what it looks like.
Yeah, one of the things we did with that is we made it universal fitting so that it could fit pretty much any of the OEM utility quads. You've got universal mounting holes. You can use these slots as part of the mounting. They actually can be used to be mounted on the floorboards.
Well, that's not much for a factory cleat, is it? Held on with one little aluminum rivet?
One rivet is all it is, and it's not very wide. Usually when you're riding, you want a pretty stable platform.
Well, you can see this will do it for us.
The new foot peg, we're going to lay it out on there. Once we locate it where we want it, we're going to take and mark the slot for the hole. Mark it right there. We're going to mark the front right there, and then we're going to drill in a couple more holes. There you go.
Let me do the other side here, buddy.
While Sam's doing the other side, we're going to take a short break. We got some more coming. You don't want to miss it. Stay with us. It's going to work out nice there, Chris. Yes, sir.
This edition of Motorhead Garage, presented by ARP, is being brought to you by ARP, the world leader in fastener technology. Steel rubber, quality crafted rubber parts and weather stripping. Roadmaster Suspension, the ultimate leaf spring suspension upgrade. Original Parts Group, the world's largest source for GMA body parts and accessories. And by Flowmaster, the exhaust technology company.
All right, these could be real handy, I think.
Yeah, they are real handy.
Hey, welcome back to Motorhead Garage. Well, folks, you know, one of the problems, I should say, I guess I shouldn't say a problem, but something you always encounter, especially when you're riding a motorcycle, especially for a long period of time, you get that vibration in the handlebars, don't you?
Yep. And
you guys have come up with something special for that. Tell me about this, Chris.
Yeah, that's our anti-vibe riser. We've been building that for a number of years. It's based off of our patented pivoting riser. This particular one fits a 1 1/8 handlebar, like your BMWs, your KTMs, that kind of thing. This one here actually fits everything from a snowmobile to a motorcycle. Basically what happens is the buzz that comes up through the motor and the tires gets isolated out by these two cushions inside of here.
You got rubber cushions in here.
Rubber cushions inside there, yeah. Kind of breaks the link between that, and usually what happens is bar buzz accentuates as it comes out to the ends of the handlebar. Well, this kind of cuts that, so your fingers don't go.
So you don't go numb after a while.
Numb after a while.
Okay, well these are pretty easy to install. Let's get started.
Kind of one of the important things to putting handlebar risers on or rechanging the position is to make sure that you have the proper cable lengths slack in your throttle cable and your brake cables. What happens is if you're not paying attention and you raise your handlebars or reposition them, the throttle cable can go tight, and when you turn the handlebars, it'll actually pull on the throttle cable itself and raise the RPM of the motor. Also, on the clutch cable, you want to make sure you have plenty of slack there as well, because if you turn the handlebar right or left, it can disengage your clutch. So there are some cautionary things you want to make sure you remember. We're just going to lay those on the tank.
All right.
We're going to grab the new risers.
You got it back here.
Yep.
All right.
And we'll put that cap right back on there again. Let's grab the cap there.
Okay.
And we'll put those bolts right back in place. And we'll just kind of snug them up a little bit, leaving some room.
Okay.
We'll just take both these risers. We'll grab the other one from behind you there, and we'll just slide that right in like so.
I'll let you do that.
Slide that one right in like so, and then you'll go ahead and snug those up. Okay, that's good there. And this one up on top here.
Is there a reason for you doing it that way?
Yeah, because we wanted to kind of rock the cap forward so that when we get to the repositioning our risers, all we've got to do is snug the back ones.
There we go.
And we're good to go.
All these little tricks make a big difference.
They do make a big difference. Now we're going to take the caps off the tops.
No, they got the inserts in here.
Yep, the inserts are in this one because these OEM bars are 7/8 diameter bars. So we can universally use this one riser to fit bikes that have both on them.
All right.
Okay, move that up to the top. Now we're going to put those caps back on again. Now what we'll do is we'll snug these up.
All right.
We've already went through and we've clipped our zip strips to give ourselves a lot of slack. You know, you're going to be able to position them.
Oh, I like this, yeah.
Right where you want. You'll notice that they move forward or backwards.
Yeah, I like it about right there.
Yep,
Perfect.
okay. Then we're going to snug them up. So now the bars are up higher. So you're not reaching down so low. A guy of your height can be a lot more comfortable riding.
Everything's all set.
It looks great, works great, make a big difference in riding down the road.
One of the things that we're really proud of is the fact that we're USA-made products. Everything's made right up there in northern Minnesota, right out of our shop, and we're really proud of that fact.
We got a lot more coming here on Motorhead Garage. Stay tuned.
Today's original Parts Group restoration tip, we're going to talk about a lot of the small detail interior items that really will finish off that award-winning interior. We have items like the pedal pad. We have them for all makes and models. Even some of the Pontiacs came with some additional stainless trim pieces to really give it a nice little accent. The little oval seat bumpers on the back of your seat, so when you're swinging the seat back, it'll keep it nice and level. Turn signal lever or tilt lever really finishes off that steering column. Some of the items that you'll see for like inside door handle pockets and things like that really help finish off that interior.
I want to point out actually the tools to install a lot of the interior stuff. Ignition, this is a Cadillac antenna removal tool, radio knobs, wiper switch knobs. This one's very handy here. It's for glove box locks, for example. Here's the retaining nut. That piece would go on here, and that's how you twist your nut and your lock and clamp those together. This is a revamp of bucket seat backs and seat bases that we've been doing for a while.
We have them in all the factory colors with the factory moldings already attached on there. You would trim that off with your button in the back here, and you'd have that interior really finished up. A lot of good stuff, and that's this week's OPGI restoration tip.
Motorhead Garage, presented by ARP, coming to you from Borla Commerce Park.
Hey, welcome back to Motorhead Garage. Well, folks, a lot of you guys out there have four-wheel drive vehicles, and guess what you do with them? You take them off-road, you beat the daylights out of them, put the big tires and wheels on there, but one thing that's still stock is the axle, and they take a real beating. I've got Sean Carlini here from RCV Performance, who's got some great axles that we're going to replace these stock ones with. Sean, welcome to the show, and tell me a little bit about your axles here. These are pretty nice looking.
Yeah, the stock axles and the Rubicons, although they've done a pretty good job, they're a U-joint design axle, and those U-joints are break, and pretty quickly the guys are looking for an upgrade. So instead of putting just a U-joint upgrade back in there, we've come up with a CV joint upgrade.
Okay.
The advantage is a U-joint, all the power goes through like 2 ears of that yoke to the U-joint. With the CV joint, the torque is transmitted through 6 ball bearings.
So you spread all that torque around on there.
Exactly. So as well as being stronger, the advantages of a CV joint is like in a front-wheel drive car, when you're at high steering angles, it's absolutely smooth. It's not, if you've, with a old pickup truck with U-joints, you kind of have that knuckle binding. That's totally eliminated.
So CV joints, folks, that's constant velocity joint is what he's talking about here. So that's what you have right here. Well, Sam and Paul are over here. They're already started working on it.
What we're doing, the first step is obviously get the wheel off, put a lug nut like Paul's got on there to keep the rotor from falling off. When you pull your caliper off, couple bolts, don't let it dangle from the brake line or the ABS line. So we're just going to take a tie wrap here and tie it to the coil spring.
All right, I think that's good.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so we'll take this nut off. Here, this is one of the lug nuts. We'll pull the rotor off. Don't forget, you got ABS sensors on these things, so don't damage your ABS line. Okay? In here is the wheel bearing. We're going to need to take the wheel bearing off after we get the axle flange off. But we're going to need an 8mm, looks like an Allen. And then we'll pull this little sensor out of the wheel bearing. Next is, give me a 36mm socket to pull. The axle comes through the hub, okay, and it's a spline to drive, and you got a big nut on it. So let me check this out here, make sure we got good air. Put some power up here. Here we go. All right. All right, Paul, once we get the nut off, that means just once we unbolt the wheel bearing, which has like 3 bolts, and this whole hub assembly comes out. And of course, what we have here, the ABS speed sensor, like I said, looks like a little Allen wrench. We'll go ahead and take that out, pull it out of the wheel bearing assembly. That way you don't damage the wire, and it'll be in good shape. While we're doing all that, let's check Davey out.
All right, well, where we are right now is we're taking the bolts out of the back of our hub right here. A couple of tricks on this. Sean, tell me about it.
Well, sometimes these kind of get rusted into the knuckle. They can be a little tough. So if you leave the bolt threaded in partially, enough that you're not going to damage the thread, and then just hit the head.
Go ahead.
You can kind of help to unseat that.
All right there, Sean, I got that bolt out. All right, folks, here's what we got now. You want to be careful of this little wire right here. That's your little sensor here for your brake, so you don't want to damage that. We can take off our backing plate and show them what we have right there, Sean.
This is basically the wheel bearing assembly. Now it's removed out of here, so now we can go ahead and extract the original axle.
All right, so Sam is already there. I think he's about ready to do his.
All right, once the wheel bearing assembly is out, axle will pull right out. Look right here, they got this little plastic shield from the factory, and what's that designed to do?
It's supposed to block dirt and debris from getting in your axle tube. But when you're pulling out your axle, you can already see all the debris coming out of your axle tube right now.
Right. And you can see right here, this is the old cross joint. And when you get a cross joint or a U-joint like this, after a certain angle, it runs like an ellipse, and that's what gives you that kind of feel in the steering shaft. That's why we're going to use a constant velocity joint, give you a lot smoother. Here's a great little piece Paul's got right here. That's the first thing we're going to install on the back side of the brake. We'll tell you exactly what this is and what it does.
Hey, on this week's Industry Update, we are featuring products from Woodward Fab. And folks, if you got a little garage or a shop and you're doing any metal fabrication, I don't care what it is, a drill press is indispensable in your shop.
That's right. Woodward Fab has all kinds of great stuff, but this drill press is pretty neat with a guard over the chuck. And when it's running, we actually have a laser. And you can adjust your laser. Once you put your laser right down on the top of it, drill bit into the center point mark, bang, you're done.
Yeah, it's 100% accurate like that. 5/8 chuck on this thing, so it'll take a variety of bits that you have. Of course, it's fully adjustable here. You can adjust your table up and down. Nice smooth action here. So it's very, very versatile.
Right, and one of the neat things is it's got a dial-in speed. You've got a knob here. You just turn it to increase and decrease the speed. No having to wrestle with belts and stuff. This is a real handy drill press for your shop, and it's floor mounted. Do a great job.
And it also tells you what the speed is right there.
That's right. You got your RPM right there in a digital readout.
So it makes it a lot easier to see. If you want more information about it, all you have to do is go to their website.
This edition of Motorhead Garage, presented by ARP, is being brought to you by Custom Auto Sound, the originator of classic car OEM bit radios since 1977. Race Gas, get more out of your engine. DeWitt Radiators, high-performance aluminum radiators for any application. RCV Performance Products, join the RCV revolution. And by Sprint Booster, more power on demand.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage. Before I put this axle down, you notice this is the axle we took out of this tube. It's dry. There's no gear oil in here. On these Jeeps, if you're not familiar with them, here's your spline that goes into the side gear. Seal's right there in the housing. So this runs dry. And this little plastic boot that they have right here, it's keeping the debris out. Doesn't do a real good job, particularly if you're driving brackish water and stuff like that.
Correct.
So these guys have developed, this is what's called a tube seal.
Yeah, it's what we call an axle tube seal, and this is really a preliminary defense against dirt, debris.
And you can see it's a beautiful piece, anodized, has a Zerk fitting on it, got a double lip seal, and 3 O-ring seals that go in that tube. You install this properly with some lube on it, and guess what? You're not gonna get debris down in there, and it's really gonna save everything in your axle.
Yep, and this, as well as all the axle shafts, are made in our facility, is from the cut of the steel to the engineering to the final product, and it's all American made, so.
That's great. Get it in there?
We do, there we go.
I heard it pop.
It's obviously a great seal. Perfect. This is our seal for our CV joint, and typically when you think of a CV joint, you think of the typical boot, which has bellows in there, which most of the time it's prone to fail, and then you get debris and everything in your CV joint.
Right.
So we developed this cast polyurethane seal, as we call it, that actually slips over the CV joint, which allows it to be strong, and it's not going to ever rip, you know, being polyurethane.
But I noticed this won't fit through there.
Nope, you actually just got to slide in right behind your knuckle.
Right.
We use this boot install tool, which slides right behind and over the top of the axle tube seal.
All right, so we want to put some lube on the splines, without a doubt.
Yep, maybe a little on that seal surface area as well.
You don't want to put the splines in dry, and then right here where this is going to go, run in that seal and see if it'll slide through. You got it?
Yes, I do. And just give it a push, a little whack where the mallet might get that in.
Just get it lined up right.
Yep, and it's lined up properly now. So now you've got the CV joint that's butted up against the face of the seal. And what we want to do now is hit it with a couple whacks of a mallet.
All right, so while we go ahead and get a mallet, push this in a little bit, then we'll be ready for the rest of the assembly. Let's see what Dave's up to.
All right, folks, well, we got our axle in. You can see what Sean's done is he got the backing plate up here. We'll make sure you have your brake sensor in here. Don't damage that. What I've done is I've taken the hub here. I've cleaned it up. You want to clean any of the rust and stuff off this outer edge right here. Put a little bit of anti-seize around here. Also, I lubed the splines on the axle. So now, with any luck at all, let's see if we can get this thing in here, Sean. Okay. How about that? Okay, now, the other thing that you all supplied, brand new bolts.
Dave, the importance of using these bolts is they have a smaller head. The OEM bolts have a large head and they'll actually interfere with the seal. So this is all supplied in the kit.
That's good. Okay, we'll go ahead and we'll put these things on. Okay, folks, well, you can see we got our hub all on, the nut all torqued, everything installed. The last step here is to go ahead and put on our rotor, and we can put on our brake. And if you want to hold on to that, Sean, I'll cut this loose. If you notice, we made sure our brake, we didn't let it hang by the cable. We wanted to make sure that it was supported. Put our caliper on. Let me slide this on like so. And let me have that bolt. And we've got this thing just about mastered here, you know. Let me get this thing started.
Besides Jeep applications, we do have, you know, CV joints for just about any application out there, as well as we do a lot of custom work too. So if you have a project, if you're running into needing some custom axles, give us a call and we can do a custom set
Good
for
deal.
you.
Now, if they want to find more information, all I have to do is go to your website, right?
Yes, sir.
That's a good deal. Okay, folks, well, we've run out of time once again. We'll see you again next time here at Motorhead Garage. See if I can. There we go. Finally got it squared away.